Hello. This är spoiler vad Humudu kabadu Clair Obscur de 33. If a man sama ultimata sakapatat. He's not a sakapa. Is the plastic. Only mahazain. Mene plastic no ne. Let's about the video, but no monocry.
Greetings, traveler. I am Nyckelhypa, here to present a serious video prompted by a life-altering experience with a video game. My last gaming experience like this was with Xenogears ages ago. The only other time France evoked such strong feelings was when Flight of the Conchords mocked the French language. To illustrate how amazing Clair Obscur Expedition 33 by Sandfall Interactive is, yes, I am comparing it to Flight of the Conchords, New Zealand's fourth most popular folk parody band. And now, here are some of my initial thoughts and my analysis of the endings, and speculation on what might be the game's core message. I want to jump straight to the endings, as that's where everything came together for me. While Act 3 resolves many plot and character mysteries, the endings raise more significant questions about the meaning of life and the nature of reality. The good ending, the one the writers likely intended to be the canon ending, is probably Versus' victory, his abandonment of painting, and Alicia's/Mayel's reunion with her family. It just feels right, doesn't it? It's not visually disturbing like the ending where Alicia stays in the painting and recreates Lumiere and the lost people. Comparing both endings gave me the impression that the game developers aimed to communicate the importance of facing reality instead of clinging to comforting illusions. That was my immediate feeling. But how often do people make the right decisions on their first attempt in real life? How probable is it that the initial judgment is right, to say nothing of perfect? Let's make like a Descartes and contemplate this. Questioning and thinking are interesting, and absolute certainty about which ending is superior undervalues the creator's incredible work and this masterpiece of a game. I don't imagine the developers would respond to a player's choice of Mayel's ending by calling them a fool. Why don't we try understanding Mayel's side of the story? First, let's address something that's probably obvious. The idea of the canon ending rests on several assumptions, some of which might lose importance depending on how we choose to describe the endings, but I believe my description was accurate. Feel free to correct my mistakes in the comments. We should question these assumptions. They seem to produce ethical dilemmas, if not outright contradictions. The canon ending has Verso win, but the actual Verso is dead, so it is actually his painted likeness which triumphs by banishing Alicia/Mayel and then vanishes with Lune, Ciel, SK, Monaco and the other painted figures. Let's consider the implications of this. Is it ethically justifiable to support Versus' decision to destroy the painting, especially given that it contradicts the wishes of the still living Alicia/Mayel, a unique blend of painted creation and real person? Versus' belief that he's saving Alicia's life is likely correct. By exiling Alicia from the painting, he would be preventing her premature death. But the decision of whether Alicia lives or dies or when, should that not ultimately rest with Alicia? In the bad ending, Versus' copy implores Alicia to erase him from the painting. He cannot bear to, quote, live like this, trapped within it. The dichotomy that arises here appears to be one of Versus' copy's right to die versus the real Alicia's right to live without severe physical and emotional pain. So, if Versus' copy has the right to choose its end, then Alicia should have the right to decide how, when and where to live, shouldn't she? Even assuming for the sake of argument that an older brother always knows best, a notion regularly refuted in reality and fiction, we can still question whether Verso would have agreed with his copy about what was best for Alicia. Even with the painted Verso imbued with the real Verso's complete history, its creation would still predate the story's inciting tragedy. It's impossible to know for certain whether witnessing Alicia's suffering would have dramatically changed Verso's views and character had he survived. After all, one of the thematic cores of Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is how trauma permanently alters people's lives and personalities. Come to think of it, the hypothetical Verso who survived the fire may even have had a different perspective on his own existence one differing from the views held by his painted counterpart. In my opinion, the contrasting wishes of Copy Verso, death, and Alicia/Mael, life in the painting, have, at this stage, resulted in a sort of stalemate. I truly don't understand how anyone could confidently argue Verso was unequivocally correct, although I still prefer the ending where Verso wins and Alicia returns to reality. Let's include the effects of Alicia's victory in our calculations. To reiterate, the non-canonical conclusion is akin to a horror film scene, forcefully suggesting that life in Alicia's repainted Lumiere is nightmarish for Verso's duplicate. Even the smiles of the resurrected characters have a disturbing uncanny valley effect. The message from the developers and storytellers is, again, obvious through these visuals. This isn't real, they claim, adding, and that makes it horrible. Therefore, we must now ask what is considered real in Clair Obscur Expedition 33 and who should be considered a person with inherent value and fundamental rights. It is clear from the game's plot that the painting process and results are significantly unlike those in real life. The painter-created figures, including Gustave, Ciel, and Lune, appear to possess sentience. The game's reality grants them an existence beyond the level of Mona Lisa or the girl with the pearl earring in our world. One example of this is Lune's reaction when Verso's copy destroys the painted world. She, let's put it mildly, is not happy. I'm sure Gustave or Lune would also pass the Turing test with ease. In Verso's painted world, the inhabitants are so realistic that they have a nice sounding word for a yearly mass death event, gommage, mirroring our use of euphemisms for difficult to process events in the real world. Naturally, there are numerous arguments against the painted people's reality or sentience. Rebuttals might emerge from the game's story itself and also from real-world philosophy. Although, the emotional impact of Clair Obscur hinges on the believability of Gustave and the others as real sentient beings. To me, that is a self-evident premise for the player to accept. For instance, it is expected by the game developers that players will still be emotionally engaged with Lune, Ciel, and Monaco in Act 3, following the disclosure of their artificial origin. Regarding Verso's victory, Lune, Ciel, and the other characters' realism, or perceived realism, suggests we shouldn't rush to judge the endings. Alicia doesn't wish to leave the painting, but also Lune and Ciel don't want to die. The fact that Verso's art brought them into being doesn't automatically give Verso the right to destroy them. In fact, doing so may be morally wrong.
We're all hypocrites, doing the same thing to each other.
Their existence depends on Verso, who can create, destroy, recreate, or modify them. Yet, arguing that Verso's power legitimizes such actions is a flawed conclusion, akin to a morally deficient might makes right justification. Alicia/Mael's refusal to erase Verso also shows her might makes right attitude. Copy Verso also has a tangible existence, much like Gustave or Lune, and Alicia keeps him in a state of constant mental anguish. To avoid a super lengthy video, let me quickly summarize these jumbled thoughts of mine. The game implies that accepting reality is the better choice. Healing our deepest wounds, learning to live with the scars, and moving forward, that's only possible by facing it all. That message seems like a good one to send, in my opinion. Yet, its simplicity makes it unoriginal and commonplace. So here's my actual conclusion, now that I've seriously contemplated which ending is the better or the canon ending. I believe the core message of Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a stark warning. Think before you create. The creations you make could develop a life of their own, trapping you in a situation that demands you hurt them to heal yourself. That message carries a significantly deeper meaning, and will probably not be received with the same unanimous approval as move on and face reality. I believe this elevates its significance. If I have to take advice on creating with care from someone, then I think I will take it from the brilliant people who created and gifted to us this masterpiece, this instant classic. For the time being, I don't have much else to contribute to the Clair Obscur discussion. Maybe again someday. The videos I create require careful consideration after all. Thank you for watching. May you always find great art to enjoy, and may you never run out of coffee and cookies. You know, maybe the real message of the game was the little brushy friends we made along the way. Because I didn't know you were sentient at the time. Come on, I've stopped brushing my teeth forever, so we're cool, right? Just don't tell me that toilet paper rolls are also sentient, because I don't think I could live with the guilt. Your cousin Klinko. What about him? Okay, I did not want to know that. That is disturbing.
Hello?